This is Professor Phillips, and this message is for Sal Santayana, and this is your feedback from the submission that you have. You put in here that you placed in Math 23, so your sequence is the 23, 40, 73, 150. That is correct. And you also put in here that you were placed in 84 and B, so your sequence goes all the way up to the 1A. Now, this is technically incorrect because there is a change and because you have to get up to 1C. So after 84 and B, you can move on to the English 1A and then English 1C. And for the math, you have the 23, 40, 73, and 150. That is all correct. So make sure on your sheet you have it filled out correctly like this, okay? Now, next, it says you want to go to Dominguez and you want to go for, I believe, kinesiology. On your assist.org printout, it talked about kinesiology. So you have your transcripts here, and I've looked those up. So it looks like you have some English and math done, and then you withdrew, and now you're in progress. So you're still at the 23, and then you have the 84 and B. So like I said, that's correct. Next semester, you'll go on to the math 40, or next semester, you will take math 23 and then move on to the 40. After you finish the 84 and B, you will move on to 1A, and then so on and so forth. So let's take a look at your catalog pages that you had. I think they were up here. So kinesiology is interesting. We have an associative transfer degree, and there are approximately, 21 to 25 units that you will need. So you will have to do the core 11 units, and that is required the PE 277, and then option 1 or option 2. For this example, we'll just go with option 1 for this assignment unless you want to switch it all to option 2. But it's basically the same, anatomy and physio. So you're going to choose anatomy 32 and physio 31. And that's going to be your 8 units down here and your 3 units right here. That'll be your required 11 units. You'll move on to choose 3 to 5 units of movement-based courses. You've already taken, I think in the winter you're taking 74A, that's 1 unit. So you basically need 2 more units of anything in these categories. Then you have list A, 7 to 9 units. You have to do stats to transfer, so that's 4 units. And then if you look on your assist.org sheet, you'll see first aid transfers as well. So what you would want to do is take that one, and then you'd want to count those units. So that's 3, and that's the 7 units that you would need right there. So that will get you to 21 to 25 units. Now, the way you fill this sheet out is, like I said already from the catalog, PE 277 from right here, and you can count those units there. And then you have anatomy and physio, again from the catalog, anatomy and physio. And then 3 to 5 units, of which one you've already taken in the winter PE 74A. So you have a unit class here, a unit class here in PE 74A. And then the last 2 are financial aid 1 and math 150. So when you total up those units, it should equal between 21 to 25 units. Be sure to select the class from these areas here to fill in, and then put the total units here, something between 21 and 25. Then you have to look up make sure in the catalog that you see the units for the class, and you fill out those units out along the side, and then get the total. Then what you have to do is look in the catalog and see what the prerequisites are. So, for example, let's look up PE 277, Introduction to Kinesiology. PE 277. Okay, there are no prerequisites for that class. It would say it right in this area if there were. So when you look up something like physiology, right, you will see it has a prerequisite of anatomy 32 and chemistry 20. So be sure to put that here, anat 32 and chem 20, all right? So that will be necessary to make sure you do your educational plan correctly, okay? So with that being said, then we'll move on to the CSU requirements, because you said you wanted to go to the CSU system. This will come from your catalog, and we can start this on page 79. So some classes already count on your general education sheet, and I'm going to show you where those classes are from your major. The rest of them you'll choose on your own. So for area A, 1, 2, and 3, you'll have to do speech, communication studies 100, English 1A, and English 1C. So over here under A1, you have speech, and then English 1A, and then English 1C. Now, the chemistry, which is the prerequisite for physio, and then the anatomy, which is a major class, you're going to count the units over here. So I think anatomy is 4 units, so you're not going to count that over here. And then you can basically look on the catalog to see where these fall. Area B is needing 9 semester units. B1 is where you're going to put the Chem 20. The little asterisk means that it has a laboratory. B2, you're going to do Anatomy 32, and that asterisk means it has a laboratory. B3 is simply the laboratory requirement, so you've met that. B4 is Math 150. So that is how these classes got here and where they're coming from. And then again, you are not going to count the 150 for the math because it's over here in this section. So C1 is Arts and Humanities. You get to choose your Arts and Humanities. Let me double check to see if you have any on your transcripts already. And you have History 101. And that looks like it's about it. So for example, Area C, you will choose one class from the arts, one class from humanities, and one more from either one. That will give you 9 units in your Area C. So your History 101 can count right here. So that's your C2 area, right? History 101. Then you will choose one more from C1 and one more from C1 or C2. That is your choice. Your D1, 2, and 3, basically, those classes are, oh, this is your assist.org. Let me go to the catalog, sorry. Those classes come from Area D. Area D, 9 semester units. So you get to choose 3 courses from this section to equal 9 units. A lot of times students do History 101, Political Science 1, because those are graduation requirements from the CSU, and then you can choose one more of your choice. So right here, you could put Polit 1. You could, oh, you counted history here. You can choose one more of your choice, and, well, 2 more of your choice. Let's look at your major sheet in the catalog one more time to see if it gives us any information on, where is it? Here we go. Gives us any information on what electives you might be able to do. Whereas physical science, kinesiology. Here we go. So it does look like you have some recommended electives. Psych 5 is a recommended elective, and Psych 5 actually fits right here. Psych 5, Area D. So if you wanted, that could be one of your Area D choices right there. Let's look at your catalog one more time here. Those are the only ones that fit into your general education requirements. So again, your D3 would be your choice. You would just have to pick anything in the Area D that looks interesting to you. Area E is lifelong learning, and you are doing Human Development 110 for Area E. And 3 units. So then you look up the units in the catalog and you place those here, and then you look up the prerequisites and place those there, and you get your total. So you take your total GE and your total major classes units, and you put the GE total here and the major total here. If you're not at 60 units, then you add electives, but most people are at 60 or more, so you don't need electives. Now, the second portion of this assignment is to do page 3. So you start with the fall, you put down what you're actually taking right now, you put down the units, and then you add those up, and then you continue on to winter and spring and summer and so on and so forth. So what you want to do to not get confused is you want to mark off anything that you are taking this semester or have already taken. Either cross it out or just put it in red, so to speak, and that way you'll know what you'll need to put on your educational plan moving forward, so you don't get confused with trying to miss a class and count your classes. So anything that you've already passed, so yeah, basically just this semester, that's what you would put down, and then that's what you would start marking off, and then continue as you go through. So make sure you do copy this down and make sure you do this correctly, and then move on to the page 3. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm always here to help.